Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Lady Justice Talks. You're with your host, Rubo, and this is the place where curiosity meets law. Today, our new episode, and then it's introduction to the Muses of Justice, and we have a very special guest with us, Hamzah.
Hello, everybody. My name is Hamzah Taleb. I am a fifth-year Law and Society and Creative Writing minor here at York, and I also am the editor-in-chief of Muses of Justice and a published writer and poet.
Okay, great. That was so nice seeing you again, Hamzah. I think we already
Give
have
my CV, you know.
Yeah, and we already have Hamzah for one of the episodes. If you didn't get a chance to look into that,
yes.
go and check that episode as well. Okay, so Hamzah, you're here for a specific thing to introduce among all of us, and do you want to take lead on that? Like, what it is, what it means, why you start this?
Yeah, so we actually started the journal. So the Muses of Justice is a socio-legal review where we publish primarily student work that surrounds themes of sociology, law, public policy, really kind of overall humanities themes.
Yeah.
And we tend to focus on student work mostly. We have published some non-student work, but our ethos is really revolving around the importance of highlighting student voices in our communities. We are an in-print journal, so primarily you can access our journal by buying a copy, or we also have it at the library here at York as well.
That's great. That's actually great.
And we had our first issue, which was our fall 2025 issue, launch September 12th.
Wow.
So that issue was called Voices of Dissent, which highlights dissenting voices, critiquing the law, critiquing the different spheres of society that we are dealing with today as the new generation.
Yeah.
I started it last year with the help of the Women in Law Association. It originally, they kind of act as our parent organization. They helped me with getting connects and kind of working on the vision of the journal as a whole, and then I kind of took it on from there. It took a lot of work. It definitely took a lot of work. I think the most thing that I had to struggle with was honestly getting people to care.
Oh yeah.
Because unfortunately during this time and this age, reading, writing, especially for our generation, people don't have the interest like they used to. And it's a bit difficult to try.
Get engagement.
Exactly. It's not like some flashy thing that's easy for people.
Yeah.
I had to sit there and really market it and work on it. And I now have a great team. Shout out my team.
Yeah.
Who really does a lot of the heavy lifting. But in the early days, it was just me and my computer against the world. So.
Oh my God, that's a lot. I know it's editing then, because it's something like even I work with some on-campus journal things, and the only thing is engagement. So far, you put so much good graphics. You even get submissions from like plenty of writers, like so many people writing so much good, so many stories to share. But the thing is readers. Like even I don't want to say to anybody, like even personally, if I'm traveling or something like that, I prefer audios. So I was like, I don't know if I will sit and read a whole book, right? And it was, I think even now, I was that person before I start working to a journal. And now I'm realizing how much effort it takes to make one journal, to get something published, a book. And I was like, okay, I should be more into reading now. That changed my perspective, because I'm struggling with that thing as well. Like when I work around the writers on campus things, like I feel like they put so much effort. We come with graphic ideas, we publish it, we even fund that thing, like fundings and a lot of efforts behind that. But at the end, when we have to look at the outcomes and results, and then I realized like there's 2 or 3 readers. We have like published copies of some journals, and we're just like trying our best to get it to everybody.
Yeah,
People are
yeah.
not coming to collect it. They don't want to read it. I don't
Yeah.
know like what's the thing is, but after that, look into that kind of thing, like how much like the hard work is behind it. I was like, this is something we should do it.
Yeah.
We should read it.
No, I agree. And I think also there's two sides to it, because one, it's hard enough to get people to read, period.
Yeah.
And then there's an added level of now you're reading academic work.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times, if people are going to read, it's going to be a romance, a fiction novel,
Yeah.
But to get someone to really interact with an academic essay or a research paper or an analytical commentary,
Yeah.
it's very difficult for people people our
Yeah.
age.
I would say like Gen Z term, right?
Gen Z, yeah, exactly.
Gen Zs.
That's the hard part. But thankfully, we found a community of students and people who are interested. Our launch party, with the help of the Humber Legal Association,
Wow, yeah, that's great.
was really, really great. We had a lot of really good people come out and interact and ask the writers questions, and it was a really, really good time. And we had our first issue, it was a big part of why we were able to publish in print, because obviously it's a lot cheaper to publish online. But one thing that I always, because even for me as a writer, when I would get, when I'm submitting to journals, of course, any journal that wants to publish my work, I'm really happy with. But if it's an in-print journal, it's almost even better, because you get to hold the copy, you get to read,
It's kind of another experience when you open that and look into that, right?
So it was really important for me to make sure that I was able to have an in-print journal.
Yeah.
So
okay, so from what was that idea? What was that vision behind it when you come up? Like, I know you joined Villa Women in Law Association as a coordinator, as a team, the team member, right?
Yeah,
and another department, right?
I was vice president of academics.
Yeah. And then what gives you I have to come up with this?
Honestly, I was just working a lot in the academics department and seeing kind of the interest in academics and the people that were coming out to our events, and I really wanted it, just personally as a writer. I'm a fan of literature. I like the submitting to so many journals and having all this experience in this the publishing cycle, from getting rejected for 2 years straight to finally getting accepted into something. And I really, and I know that York has journals. There's a lot of different journals on campus and with different clubs. And I just wanted to make something that I could honestly have as something that I created, and something that I could also give students voices. Because our journal, it's our priority is publishing radical work.
Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of the times, especially in our programs, law and society, criminology, etc., the essays always kind of default to a certain skeleton. You have this is the problem, this is why it's a problem, and this is how we're going to fix it. And that's great, for an academic paper that you're submitting for a class. But what I wanted to do is amplify the voices that were writing very different types of essays.
I think you maybe we can say that you was trying to create a space for that personal emotions and feelings and that student experience that you can't even get published into an academic paper. It's not under any course criteria. So it's space for that people, where you can share your ideas, your experience so far in your university in this program, or maybe not just under the university, but any kind of life experience. I would say because I think I get to know in the first volume it's a lot of women contributors.
Yes.
So
we had our first issue was all women writers that were published, and you know what? That wasn't even a
decided.
It wasn't. It just happened naturally, which was beautiful. To me. And just to go back to the first question, I think for us as a journal, we didn't want to have to pander to liberal ideologies that were riddled in a lot of student work and a lot of journals. Not to obviously knock any journals down. It's not. But I think for us, we wanted work that actually accurately voiced the struggles and the plights of many students either at York or in other universities across Canada, across Ontario. And that's exactly what we did with our first issue. All women, the voices were so strong and so bold, and it was honestly a pleasure to read all of the people that submitted their work and the writers that got accepted. It was great. We had essays on the refugee crisis, on the homelessness crisis. We had things about mental health in Canada and how the capitalist structure does not accurately help those with mental health struggles. And it was amazing. And I was even surprised. I'm like, oh wow, like people actually care about this stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of another experience, because I even get a chance to read some journals, and I was like, how brave these people are to come up and mention about that. Even I was reading some pieces, and people talk about the personal issues, like either the childhood trauma, and I was like, I would never be this courageous that I'm talking my issue with, like, oh, this happened in my household back in that year, then when I was a kid, and I struggled through that. I've been through that. I was like, I had that trauma, but I wouldn't be that courageous, like, oh, I could openly express that on writing it and get it published.
Of course.
And that gives me like another kind of I don't know how to explain, like confidence or something, like to come out of your comfort zone and express.
It takes a lot of courage.
A lot, right? And that's like every women, like it was not pre-decided. It was nothing you expected, and all women writers, I feel like they were looking for that space that you guys created. They need some space where they can express it openly, and I think you incredibly done that thing, like getting the pieces done and like give a space for students to like express them openly all over, like, and then the biggest thing is not just up to one organization or up to just one academic, like the course, or like more like it's legal studies concept or something like that, but open it for everybody.
Exactly.
And with that, I came to know that you are coming with the volume 2 as well.
We are coming with volume 2. Volume 2, our winter 2026 issue is going to be published in 4 days.
Okay.
Yes. So on the 15th, we're going to be sending it off to printing. So, and we're going to be hosting a launch event for that as well. So stay tuned.
So can we get more details, like what the volume 2 can be like?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
So volume 2 is titled To Live and Labor. It's about the international labor struggles.
Incredible. Yeah.
Throughout, in like modern times and throughout history, and it really delves very deep into the issues and struggles of a lot of the working class. And it has a lot of intersectionality. So we have papers about the Black working class. We have papers about the working class in relation to law enforcement. We have stuff about migrant workers. We also opened up for this issue creative submissions as well as academic submissions. So we actually have some poetry as well that we're publishing. So we really wanted to highlight, to kind of keep up this tradition of dissent, not in the fact that we're glorifying this kind of dissenting opinion, but once again, we're keeping true to our kind of mission statement, is that we are a radical journal. We're not going to publish work that kind of strokes the pretty hairs of the liberal status quo. We're not going to publish work that doesn't challenge, that doesn't make you think, doesn't make you question. And that's exactly what we're doing for this issue, even more so than last issue, I feel, because this issue really directly targets a lot of capitalistic structures that we are struggling with as a human race, a human entity, worldwide, global. If we look at the state of a lot of the Asian countries that are basically being turned into landfills due to the overconsumption of a lot of people in the West and globally. If we're looking at the state of migrant workers in the Middle East, in a lot of other countries, a lot of other territories, if we're looking at even the issues surrounding a lot of of people with citizenship and with
immigration,
even in this country, even in Canada, especially how international students are are taken advantage of at a disgusting rate, and they are subjected to really, really awful working conditions, and they can't really say anything because their employer will threaten them with deportation, or will threaten them to pull their visa or something. So it's a lot of literature surrounding that, and with this group, it is a smaller group. Our first issue, I believe we had 8 writers. This issue we have 5, I believe. So just keeping it condensed. And honestly, I was very taken aback by the volume of submissions. I mean, thank you so much to everybody that submitted. But it was amazing to read so much and so many different opinions and so many different points of view. It was a really beautiful thing, and it was also very telling of our York community. So, I mean, a lot of our submissions are from York, mainly. I would say about 90%. So it was really interesting to see the different voices on our campus.
So just for the curiosity, like what was the time duration? Like how much time did it take to you to come up with like theme to get it published? Or like what was the time frame?
So the time frame, let me try to think back here. A lot has happened since then. So our first issue came out in September. We started working on our second issue probably 2 weeks after our first issue came out.
Oh my God, that's so quick.
Yeah, because the first issue took almost a year to come out, But obviously with that, the first issue was harder because we had to start from zero. Like we had to literally build everything. Whereas for this issue, we kind of already had a starting point. Okay, now we're going to keep it.
But honestly, that 2 week is, because that time you're just in that mindset of, we're celebrating the success. We're just like everybody with the first thing right now. We still have time. We can work on it. But I'm telling you, that hard work, that passion, like within the next 2 weeks, let's do it.
Exactly.
Let's start it.
And also because I feel like we want to build from the momentum. Yeah. Because the first issue was so good and we had so much great interaction, engagement, we wanted to keep building off of that. Yeah. So if it was, I had a lot of meetings with, our graphic designers, our marketing team, trying to figure out, okay, so we're getting this engagement on our posts and our stuff. Like, how do we translate that into followers? How do we translate that into comments, into engagement, into people genuinely like engaging with the journal as a entity? Yeah. So we had a lot of meetings about that. So I think the whole thing really took we started maybe mid-September. We came up with the theme, I would say. About a month later, we started to look up, we started to do research on, what we wanted the color scheme to be, things like that. We opened submissions. I believe submissions closed in January.
This January?
Yes. Okay. I believe either January or the last week of December. Submissions were open for three. I think they're open from essentially the beginning of the semester until the end of the fall-winter semester, because a lot of the times we get submissions, it's people's midterms or their final essays, So we wanted to give students the opportunity to write their papers, get feedback on their papers, and then if they want to submit it, they can. Okay. And so I would say the whole thing took us about from start to now, and we're still we're still working every day. Yeah. We have something to tweak, something to change until we really send it off. About
almost 6 months, right? But that's why I want to specifically know this, because it's 6 months of hard work, and then because when it's published, being a chief editor, being a team member, leader, also having a team that always
I could not have done without my team. Genuinely, I could not have done without my team.
So even because you look for that outcome, and because your teams are looking at you, it's more like I look at my manager. Do you think people will attend our event? Yeah. Do you think people will come to read our thing? Right. So I think that's kind of another, being a team leader and having such an incredible team working so hard behind everything and giving doing almost, because you guys are like full-time students.
We are.
You all are full-time students. You have so many other commitments, personal commitment, professional. Also, you have to focus on your career, like what's next, right? And with that, like contributing like almost 6 months or even more than that, because you never know, like it's something coming up every time, right? And I have to like, I want, why I'm bringing this topic is like, because it's very important, like to give, you know, the appreciation, to give them, I would be the greater appreciation is to read and then give the feedback. I would say like now the volume 2 will be out, reading and sending them feedback would be the greatest appreciation.
Yes, everybody please read issue 2.
Yeah, and it would be the grades, because I'm as a full-time student, I can see like if somebody gave me like, this is your 6-month project, you have to work on it, and I was like, oh, I have this exam, I have this thing, I don't know how I'm gonna manage it, and I have to like, that's why I'm bringing this topic. It's such a big thing that you're managing all of your other commitments along with this, and then you look for that outcome, and it's a big responsibility on you.
It is a very big responsibility. And honestly, it's a responsibility on the students as well that are submitting their work.
Yeah.
Because it's not just like, okay, you submit your work, get accepted, you're done.
Yeah.
No, we have a whole maybe month and a half time where, because why do we close submissions in January and we're publishing in March? Because there were months that lapsed where we had to have revision meetings with the writers. We had to have, okay, do this, change this, edit. You know, so there is it's not just you submit, you get accepted, you're done. You have to still work on the paper. You have to still, you know, have these
editing, photo, headshots.
Exactly. It comes, you know, there's a lot. So, you know, for the students that submitted, it was a lot on them as well, because they have exams, they have midterms, they have, you know, and our team are all students as well, so we also all have that. Yeah. So we're all trying our best. So time management is crucial, and that's honestly something that I've always struggled with, is time management. And having this journal, it like forced me to, you know, there's been so many times, oh my God, I have a meeting in 2 minutes, I have, you know, but there's this journal really forced me to look at my time and see how, you know, plan things out, keep an agenda, keep a calendar. Like I started using a calendar this year.
This year?
Okay, 2026, I started my calendar. So it's really important. And, you know, we're a student journal. We're not the New York Times. Yeah. We're not the Paris Review. Yeah. You know, but it's all about really believing in something, and having the imagination is a very powerful thing. If I work on this journal like it is the New York Times, like it is the Paris Review. Yeah.
That was I want to say, that doesn't matter what's the position.
It doesn't matter, because a lot of people, you know, when I kind of do these, like when I even like my team has told me, like, I take myself too seriously sometimes. And like when we have team meetings, we're like, Hamzah, like, calm down, you know. And and I agree, I do agree, but at the same time,
but that sense of responsibility and the commitment is like something that never let you down.
Exactly. At the same time, if I'm really sitting here on this Zoom call and I am talking like I am addressing a room full of, you know, people that, you know, the work ethic and these things, they will build, they will gain their own momentum. Yeah. So I would say to a lot of students who are trying to, you know, make their own organizations on campus, or do their own clubs, or their own, even if you want to do a journal yourself. Yeah. It's all about imagination. It's all about possibility. Anything is possible if you just really, like, it's so cheesy, but it's genuinely true. Yeah. I feel like with this generation, unfortunately, you know, due to COVID and a lot of things, we've kind of been a bit desocialized. Yeah. So our generation finds it a bit difficult to put ourselves out there and to really expose ourselves to critique, expose ourselves to failure, you know, but these things are crucial. They're necessary.
Yeah, that's part of life, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's just because 2 years of pandemic or something like that changed everything, because if we go back after that, everything was so normal and it's part of life. Exactly. Because, you know, like, that I feel like that's why, like, getting married, having families, like our parents and everything, that because they, like, you know, they open to the people, they express themselves, they make friends, right? It's part of life. So I feel like even like these kind of things are kind of creating a sense of community, right? It's something creating, not just like publishing someone's work, not publishing some ideas or thought. It's more like creating a community. Like I can see that people, like, you have created a community writers, you have your team. That's kind of Hamzah's community now, right? So I feel like this is not only like, it's like work done. Like it's all not like the professional thing. I got a job to do. I'm just gonna go get it done. It's always have a qualitative perspective as well. Like the same thing is like it's sense of responsibility. Like I can see like if, for example, I'm getting my work done, I'm like, I will be waiting. Oh, my volume will be up in a few days. Yeah. It's kind of another, happiness expressions. Of course. And that's like what it's not only like just getting a journal published as just getting work done. It's more like, like respecting someone's emotions as well.
I mean, even for me, like when I remember the first time I ever, the first time I got published, which was October 2024, actually in the York University newspaper, Excalibur, the student newspaper. I remember, the feeling of just holding something and having your name on it.
Yeah.
That's feeling incredible. That's a feeling that will never leave me. Even though it's a student newspaper, maybe like 25 people read it, whatever. But the fact that I can hold something
that is
my name is on it, it was incredible. And a lot of our students, a lot of our writers that submit, it's their first time being published in something, and seeing that emotion is such a great thing to be a part of.
Do you have any feedback you got from the volume 1, like any memorable thing that you want to share?
Yeah, volume 1, I mean, the launch party was just amazing. My family came out, my brother, my mother. It was just to see so many people, because nobody sees the work. Nobody sees when you are like alone in your room, no lights on, it's 2 o'clock in the morning and you haven't slept in like a day, nobody sees that. So when you get to a point where now it's like a room filled with like people that genuinely care about something that you created, it was beautiful. And to also see like the people that came out to support the writers and the students, and like you said, that community, we made a community in that room. And it was such a beautiful thing. So that launch party really was just amazing to
something
me.
Memorable that keeps you going.
Yeah, for sure.
And looking into your mom and your siblings' eyes, and like that kind of another proud they feel like, Hamzah, it's your thing.
Yeah, especially my older brother, because he was actually the one when we were younger, like he introduced me to literature, writing and to
literature,
reading. When I was, cause I hated reading when I was a
really
kid. I hated it. I hated anything to do with writing or reading when I was a kid.
I think after doing such academic things, like
I know but he was the one that he would give me books, and he would
make you read and write.
And honestly, it was, a lot of the success that I had, he kind of put the battery in my back, because, we had a conversation, and he was just like, you need to go, like, you need to get things going, because he knows I have all these ideas and all but it's the execution, and he really put that belief in me that I could do X, Y, and Z.
I can relate with, because I am a younger sibling, so I have an older brother. So I was like, even coming to York or
we look up to them.
Even coming to York or even moving to Canada. He moved to Canada first, and then he was like, let's join me, let's do something. We're more into like we both are into business perspective, like both into business fields. So he's also from business and he's running his, and then looking into him like, okay, this guy starts from nothing and running this business right now, and it's like
it gives you almost the courage to try.
And then when they put so much effort, like like whenever, even not even just like emotionally, whenever like I need a financial help, like tell me what you want. That kind of another thing. And then giving back to them, like you helped me, now this is what I'm gaining, is like just because of you. That's kind of another experience.
And honestly, for me, like, anytime I write anything that really I'm like, because a lot of times the writing you send to people, oh, this is so beautiful, this is so nice. And that's great, it really is great. But when I know like I need that critique, I need someone to really like, he's always the first person that I go
for
to.
Like that real one, like, no, this is not the right, you're not gonna do it.
And he's not they don't do it out of like malicious intent.
Yeah,
it's because they want you to be the best, because
Yeah.
they want you to push forward. So
Yeah.
that's something that I always, and sometimes they're they're a little bit harsh sometimes,
Yeah.
but it all comes from a place of love. So
Yeah, that makes sense too. And from now, it's just like, because because you have volume 1 after like great hit, and now you have like volume 2. Hopefully it will be incredible. It's gonna
hopefully
it's gonna be amazing.
Thank
I know, because the hard work you're mentioning, your team and everything, emotions, it's gonna be incredible.
Thank you.
With that, like, if you ever thinking of volume 3, so what's your advice, and what do you think you want to mention to the students, like why writing, why they should write, why it's important specifically in legal field, and from the field writing and literature field, like why writing, and if they're writing and they're thinking to submit like in any upcoming volume, what the things do you think we look into that makes us like, this is the piece?
Okay. Well, first, why write?
Yeah.
I think to a quote by the late great James Baldwin, where he says that everything that you're looking at is also you, in the sense where whatever we are held as a collective human race with this invisible thread that connects all of us.
That's so good.
And in my opinion, writing is a way to fortify this thread, because the act of almost like being documented, being remembered as a person that lived on this earth at one point. It's by leaving a mark, and art, film, writing, poetry, these kind of, art is how you do that.
Yeah.
You leave a
way
mark
of
on the world. You leave something, when we look at the people that, like, even if you go to a thrift store and you find an old notebook of some random person 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago, just from scribbling a few lines on a paper, that person's remembered.
Yeah.
And of course this is more to do in a creative sense, but it's also in the academic sense as well.
Yeah.
Because a lot of what we talk about in our upcoming issue is the connection between the academic and the creative. And a lot of the times people often think that they are two separate entities, but they're not. You can't have one without the other.
Yeah.
And when it comes to academia, I am not the, spokesperson for academia. I'm not anybody that is, a scholar or anything like that. But from what I have gathered in my limited, experience, I will say that academic writing, even though it is a scary beast, once you conquer it, it feels really good, because having something that is well put together and tackles a lot of the issues that you care about as a person, and then having other people discussing this paper or discussing this written work, it's a very, very special thing. A lot, like, in our launch party, we had our writers from issue 1 come up and read out excerpts from their essays, and to see people discussing their work amongst themselves, and go up to them and ask them questions like, I read this, like, just this very simple interaction. It was so meaningful to them.
Yeah.
So I would say
and
that,
like that kind of connection they get
exactly
just because they're talking about the writing piece.
Exactly.
Right? You connect with somebody, and even you're reading someone's work, and then you're looking in the room like, who is it, your work? And then you connect and talk about it. That kind of connection you create.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And writing is just a beautiful thing. It really is. And it doesn't have to be profound. It doesn't have to be, this like world-breaking, world-changing piece of work, but it's just it strengthens the relationship you have with yourself.
Yeah.
Because you are writing from your brain, from your mind, from your consciousness, and putting that on the paper, you're almost having a conversation with yourself.
Yeah.
And in the academic sense, I'm not going to sit here and romanticize writing an essay. Okay. It's very grueling. It's like, you know, a lot of the times I'm just like, I want to delete everything and just close my laptop and, you know, but once it's done and you just look at it and it's
into that. Yeah.
You know, so it's a good, like, you know, it's
something you achieved.
Exactly.
Something
it's
that you
fair,
achieved.
It's a fair price to pay.
Yeah.
In the sense where you have to like, you will hate yourself, you will hate your life, like you will just it will take over everything. Like everybody has that one paper, I mean, especially in humanities courses, like that one paper you've been working on for 2 weeks, and you can't think of anything other than this paper, and every time you look at it there's something wrong with it. But once you're done,
even I remember, like,
you know?
I'm not much like I write, but it's not something, because I don't have like my academics specifically into writing, so it's not I'm getting so much time to write, but I try to write. So whatever I write, like sometime even like after a month or 2 months, if I go back to it, even something what happen is like if I'm feeling some low or something like that, I just go back to read that. I am more into journaling, so I write. I go back.
Journaling is a really powerful thing. It's a really good thing.
So what I do, like sometimes I feel like it gives me another kind of like boost, like I'm reading my work and I'm like, oh, at that time I was at this point, but I'm much better than that now. And I feel like, oh, this is something that I improved, or this is something like I worked on myself. So even like reading your own work like after some time and realizing that how much you improved, because I write, like I do journaling, so I write about like my day, like bad day, like this happened, that happened, this person did to me, and after such a time when I read back to that thing after a few times, like I feel like I should read what I wrote, right? And that gives me like, I think I was overthinking. I think I shouldn't do this. It's kind of another kind of thing, and then be like, how much mature I am from that period now. I was renting on some random thing. So I feel like even like going back after some time, reading that work is kind of another fun. It's not kind of another experience. I agree. And every time you read again and again, you learn something different. You come up with a different perspective.
Learn more, and that's you learn more about yourself. And it's like I said before, it's you're documenting your own journey through life. You're documenting your own kind of ups and downs. One day you'll care about this a lot, next day you'll care about something else a lot. It's a really, you know, journaling. I a lot of my friends journal as well, like, even if it's 2 lines, like, you know, I had a really bad day today and I'm really hungry. You know, something, anything to start, because I feel like in our generation, because of TikTok and social media, and which, I mean, I use all those things as well, but because of those, because of those things, we have almost become strangers to ourselves, in the fact where we do not spend, like, think of if you spend enough time sitting in your room by yourself with no sound, with no music, with nothing playing, just really sitting alone
with your thoughts,
with your own thoughts. You know, we don't do that anymore.
Of course not.
We always have a show playing, or we have, you know, TikTok going, or Reels or whatever, like, you know. And journaling, you just kind of shut that door, you block out all the noise, and you just hone in on yourself. And it's a really, and also it's a good thing to keep yourself accountable. Like you said, you know, if you might write something, next day you come back to it, okay, I was, you know, maybe I was,
it gives like another kind of
exactly.
realization, learning that, okay, from the next on, like every time this happens, just be calm. You know, don't panic. It's too much. You're just overthinking. So I think it's give me another kind of realization, like reading the work and even reading others' work and learning from these experiences. Like, I'm more into reading women work, right? I love, because I feel like I can connect with that emotion, like if they're going through something, and I was like, okay, I think I can relate there, so I'm more into that. So reading that work and finding such book in the library, I was like, oh, this is something I can relate it. So I think that, like, it's another way of learning. It's not like I'm not gonna criticize like academic learning, but academic learning is always there. But
it's two separate things.
But learning from such experience, such writing pieces, is something that you can easily relate with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, I'm not going to say, like, for chemistry, I can relate with chemicals. But reading some women's experience, and then I was like, maybe this happened once I get married. So I can learn from there. Right? So I feel like it's kind of, I wouldn't say that read it just because it's a fun activity. Even if you want to learn, you want to give your time to learning some good things, I would say, like, it's amazing. Read it, learn it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great thing. And writing, I feel like writing is another thing, like, you know how to control your emotions. Like, when you write, what I feel personally, like, if I wouldn't be writing, I will be like just ranting here and there and just creating mess, like this happened, that happened. Like, I feel like when I have to like write or something, like, okay, calm down, let's write on the paper.
Yeah.
Let's do
it. Kind of.
Yeah.
It's a check in for yourself, but also it's almost like, you know, a lot like when I talk to students and just, you know, like people, like, you know, I write, but I wouldn't call myself a writer. You know, and Margaret Atwood said that the only thing that makes you a writer is writing. You know, even if you're, once again, if you're writing like just the simple, like, you know, so many people will say, like, you don't flinch when you write. Just write.
Yeah.
Simply just write. And a lot, like, something that I learned a lot in my creative writing classes is like the use of free writing. Just literally having a page and just writing anything that comes to your mind for 5 minutes straight. And you know what? Maybe it's gibberish. You know, maybe it's just a bunch of, but you do this so much that you almost start, it's muscle memory. You built in this habit of, okay, I'll wake up, I'll write, or I'll write before I go to sleep, or write in the middle of the day, or, you know, this always engage with yourself in this way. It's really, really important. That's what I would say.
And from wrapping up to this, like, what's your hopes or what's your vision, I would say, for the Muses of Justice, for the future, and how, like, moving on, how you want, like, you know, we start with Women in Law Association, like, how you want the women contributors. What's the next goals? What are the ideas?
Yeah, I mean,
if you're okay to share your ideas.
Of course. I think just more distribution for us, getting it in the hands of more people, more students, more writers, more faculty even. Obviously, me personally, as you know, I'm hopefully going into my master's soon. You know, taking it with me and taking it to the master's level now and seeing what that can do and where that can lead. And I think, honestly, remaining humble during all of this. Humility is really important, especially when you're talking about real life things that impact real people. It's very easy for me in my, you know, comfortable apartment downtown Toronto to talk about genocides and things like that when there's no real threat to my life, you know. But it's another thing, you know, we have to understand that the real heroes of these stories and the real people that that they're impacting. And I feel like one thing that academia can benefit from is a sense of humility. Because I feel like academics, because they are very qualified in their fields, they have a sense of superiority. You know, which rightfully so, but at the same time, we have to remember that the message is more important than the speaker of the message. So yeah, I think what I'm looking for with the journal is just more interesting issues, more interesting work, you know, seeing where it can take us. You know, I really have a good team. It took me a while. It took me a while to build a good team, but now thankfully I'm at a space where we have a really good set of people behind it. So I have full trust in them as well. Even days where I'm like, guys, I need to tap out for a second, and they just kind of take it on, which is really great. And in terms of women and the Women in Law Association, I mean, I'm forever grateful for the Women in Law Association for helping us get that ground up and helping us start the journal, because I quite literally could not have done it without them.
Yeah.
Building the connections, brainstorming, and even like our
a platform.
Yeah, a platform, like our first, how we introduced the journal before we had our own website, before we had our own Instagram, before we had anything of our own, we were using the channels, the Women in Law Association channels.
Yeah.
So that is something I'll always remember and I'll always be grateful for. And for the women that want to submit, and for the women that want their voices to be heard, the Muses of Justice is definitely a place,
right place.
For your voices. And we appreciate every single student that submits to our journal, whether you get accepted or whether you don't. It's a real honor to be trusted with people's work and people's time, and and thank you for having me on as well.
Of course. Where I can help the students, and you, like, there's such kind of great leaders behind it that they're working towards to the society and coming with something like where we can help in the sake of humanity. So I think always down for that. And also, like, Women in Law Association, like you mentioned, like I can't even forget, like, once I start on campus things, it was my first thing.
Oh yeah, me too.
It was first thing.
First thing on campus.
And podcast was, I have to share it right now because I feel like even people who are not into writing, you should try it. Coming out of your comfort zone is the biggest thing.
Very, very, very important.
Yeah. And for me, it was my first thing. Like, I start on campus. Like, even I would say when I moved to Canada as an international student, it was very first role, volunteer, paid, whatever the thing is. First out of my courses, it was the very first thing. And when I mentioned my parents, like my family, like, I'm doing podcast, and I remember I mentioned my brother like last night, and he was like sleepy, and he went to his bed. And in the morning, when he realized that what I mentioned last night, he knocked my door. Are you serious? Are you serious? Are you doing it? I'm like, yes.
Yeah, it's a scary thing, putting yourself on camera, talking. Like, that's what I mean by we've been desocialized, and this is now your personal, like, journey to get comfortable with your own voice. It's a very, 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 and I commend you. It's a very beautiful thing.
Yeah, and I was like, I still remember, like, I was even shocked with because he's my older brother, when he's praising you, like, it's another kind of achievement. Like, he is praising me, and are you serious? You gonna do it? I'm like, yeah, I'm doing it.
That's great.
Okay. Then he was like, okay, I think you can do something.
Yeah, because it takes a lot of confidence to just sit here and to carry a conversation and to steer a conversation. It takes a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
A lot, like, whenever we go to those law mixers and those events, so many people are so scared to just talk.
Yeah.
And I feel like doing things like, and even if you're just sitting in your room and you're just talking to yourself, it's just hear your own voice, like, be comfortable with your own voice, whether that voice is on paper, whether that voice is spoken out loud.
Yeah.
It's really important to build this relationship with yourself, because when you enter the professional world, especially in our, field, business, law, etc., nobody is going to just walk up to you and be like, here's a job, here's an opportunity. No,
you have to create that opportunity, right?
I cannot stress enough the impact of cold emailing and cold calling, and just talk to anyone who will listen.
Yeah.
Anyone. If it's a partner at a law firm, if it's an intern, if it's a receptionist, if it's whatever, talk to anyone who will listen, because you don't know who that person knows, what that person can do for you,
where that connection can bring you.
Yeah. Exactly. And sometimes it does feel very kind of transactional, to be honest, but this is the world, and we have to make our mark on it, and it's our responsibility to push ourselves into the rooms that we want to be in. Yeah,
that's why, like, even you feel like you are not into writing, but you think like you can try, you have like that passion. So I feel like the Muses of Justice, like, incredible place. Like, come submit the piece.
Yes, please, like, please.
This is even not just because just write for your passion, something like, even if you're focusing on your career goals, I think it's like a tremendous, it's extreme, the platform that can give you like an opportunity to connect. For example, you're connecting to it, somebody's reading your pieces, they will reach out to you. Maybe like that's a big opportunity coming through your way.
Exactly. You never know. Once you put something out there, anybody could read it. Anybody could read it. It could be an intern, it could be senior partner, you don't know. Maybe
like a chief editor from some publication house, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, you never know, right?
You never know.
So to wrap up this conversation, like Hamzah, so can you tell us like what's the ways we can connect with you?
Yes, of
the Muses of Justice, because your launching party will be there. Maybe there will be volume 3, and I think we do our best to convince you guys to send the volume.
Yes, please.
So I know you're looking to how to connect with Hamzah and the team and the journal. So what's how we can connect with you?
I mean, you can connect with me personally via email, hamzataleb28@gmail.com. You can connect with the journal also through email. You can connect us on social media at the Muses of Justice. All of our communications are listed on our social media, our LinkedIn, same thing, at Muses of Justice. If you see me on campus, just come up and say hi. I'm
He's very good.
I'm a very chatty person, so I love to talk. If our team, we have a really good marketing team, so hopefully you'll be seeing a lot of us soon. Issue 2 comes out in a couple days. Issue 3, we publish seasonally. So we had fall, now we're doing winter, so our spring issue will be next. We look forward to hearing all of.
So like everything about the launch party, every details, everything.
All of our events will be communicated and released to our Instagram. Mainly, that's our main source of
and to make sure it's open to everybody.
Yes,
it's not just the writers and the team.
And even if you're not even in law, let's say you're in psychology, let's say you're in, film.
Accounting,
exactly. Anything. If you just have an interest, please come out, talk to people, talk to me, talk to, anybody on the team. We're open to everybody. We had a lot of even writers that are not in law, and not in humanities, even for the second issue. So don't be
regardless of gender, community, anything.
Regardless of anything. All you need is a interest. You don't even have to have an interest. You can just come in and just see what's going on. We're our door's always open to anybody that wants to walk through it.
That's great. And if you want to know about Volume 3, if you want to attend the party and want to connect with Hamzah and the team, don't forget to check their LinkedIn. Don't forget to check the Instagram and everything under the name the Muses of Justice. And you never know what's the opportunity is on your way. Exactly. And here we're going to wrap up with this episode. And I just want to say big thank you to Hamzah for joining us and sharing this incredible opportunity you're creating for the students on campus, even open to everybody. So it's something that, it's a big thing. It's a big mission, big goal that you started in your life. And I have to say thank you for all the people for whom you create opportunity, from the Volume 1 writers, and that's from Success. And now you're working on the third as well, thinking about the third, and you're working on the second. So big thank you for everything you're doing so far, and wishes you all the best.
Thank you as well.
Of course. And wishes all the best, because I know you're going for the masters. All the best for your all career goals, personal life, mom and dad, back, everybody, family. Wishes everybody, and good luck to your brother as well.
Yes.
Who is giving you? Keep giving him such ideas, keep giving him that talent, writing pieces, go and do it so we can get more opportunities like this from his end. And stay tuned. This episode I hope you will like this episode, and something we create up good for you, a good opportunity, maybe good advices, so makes you to work on some things that you're scared of, maybe just trying our best to take you out of your comfort zone so you can create something that you never think for yourself. So stay tuned, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Women in Law Association York U, Villa, and also our YouTube page. We're also on Spotify. And say bye-bye. Bye-bye for till the next episode.
Thank you so much for listening.